woman never belongs to you. It's just your turn. You lost your edge, she lost attraction for you. That's how it works. What'd you think she was gonna do? Tell you she cheated? Men cannot afford to get complacent in relationships. Get your fat ass off the couch, start lifting weights, and learn game. You're welcome.
And now your man, Donovan Sharp.
What's up? What? Oh, wait a minute. Well, what happened? Hang on a second, guys. Huh. That's a little weird. Sorry about that, guys. What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharp, and welcome to the 1006th episode of TSR Live, your daily dose of... Oh, I know what happened. Hang on, guys. Hold up. Hang on, guys. Hold up. I know what happened. Unbelievable. Jesus. No, dismiss. Damn it. Ay, ay, ay. All right.
A woman never belongs to you.
All right, let's try that again.
A woman never belongs to you. It's just your turn. You lost your edge, she lost attraction for you. That's how it works. What'd you think she was gonna do? Tell you she cheated? Men cannot afford to get complacent in relationships. Get your fat ass off the couch, start lifting weights, and learn game. You're welcome.
And now your man, Donovan Sharp.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharp, and welcome to the 1005th episode of TSR Live, your daily dose of toxic masculinity, misogyny, and small dick energy. We are mega streaming live. Simultaneously to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, and of course in crystal clear high-resolution 4K, to the one and only independent streaming platform built by the lovely and talented Devin for the TSR family. So however you're watching, wherever you're watching from, thank you for making the Sharp Reality Live a part of your daily routine. Guys, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Donovan Sharp TSR, on Facebook at Donovan Sharp, as well as Twitter. I think it's at Donovan Sharp HTR, I think. Not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. If you want to get your hands on my 3 free ebooks, the first of which, 16 Ways to Immediately Disqualify Her for a Long-Term Relationship. Dead Bedroom, The Cure for a Sexless Relationship. And book number 3, 14 questions she will ask you on the first date and how to correctly respond. Head on over to tsracademy.com, plug in your very best email, and those 3 books, packed with rock-solid, life-changing information, are yours absolutely free. Plenty of ways to support the show. You can Super Chat, Cash App, or PayPal. Every dollar matters. Every dollar counts, and every dollar is appreciated. And finally, it is Labor Day weekend, and to celebrate, I am having a huge sale on my entire catalog. Everything from my groundbreaking ebook, How to Train Your Woman, all the way to my signature course, Womanese, and everything in between is half off. Just use the promo code LABOR, as in Labor Day, and you will see your cost cut literally in half. But guys, you gotta hurry. This ends at midnight Eastern on Labor Day, which is September 5th. So head on over to tsracademy.com, fill up your shopping cart with this life-changing information, use promo code LABOR, and the TSR Axe will come in and chop off half the price for you. And also be sure to join us over on Discord. We have a lot of fun there. Man, all my stuff is crooked today. I'm feeling some type of way about that. I want to start before I get into the Lisa Ann thing, guys. Before we get into the Lisa Ann thing, I want to. This is a Reddit post. So Devin sent me a Reddit post. that... Oh, wait a minute. Devin sent me a Reddit post that really can only be described as you can't believe it until you actually see it. And so the Reddit post is off of, looks like the Reddit thread is R off my chest. The title is, I'm at a loss as to what to do with my wife. He's 54, she's 51. He's 54, she's 51. He starts, my wife and I have been married since 2001, together since 1999. She's the most intelligent, thoughtful, caring, loyal person I know, and I've always thought of myself as fortunate to have met and married her. She is, even today, aesthetically beautiful, and men have told her this throughout her marriage. She has always shot them down. So, 51-year-old woman who's still got it. Clearly, she doesn't look like she did when she was 21, but hey, man, a lot of older women do look good. My fiance included. Devin is 47 years old. She's got the body of a porn star. And no, I'm not talking. And when and that you guys know what she looks like without filters. A lot of these guys who talk about, oh, this girl is mid and this and that and the other. These are the guys that are addicted to mattress actresses and Instagram filters. Anyway, earlier this year, he continues, she was diagnosed with uterine cancer stage 1 and had a full hysterectomy. I was never concerned about the cancer. It was diagnosed early, dealt with quickly, and she made a full recovery. I took time off of work to look after her after the surgery, and all seemed well. There were some, to be expected, emotional instances on her part, and although I am not an emotional person, we dealt with them together. After her recovery, she was insistent that we, quote, start living life to the fullest, and took a 10-day trip to Europe, followed by a trip to Belize. We also have a trip to the UK, Spain, and Portugal later this year. I'm fine with these things, building memories and crossing bucket list adventures off her/our list. I also understand that these are a result of feeling fragile on her part. She took up yoga, swimming, and healthy cooking classes. I was fully on board until last week. Now, cancer is cancer, guys. There's no doubt about it. But not all cancers are created equal. She got the stage 1 uterine cancer, had a full hysterectomy, which doesn't really matter because she can't have kids anyway at 51. Either that or it'll be a seriously geriatric pregnancy for sure. Right? I'm not going to sit here and say that going through this wasn't tough, but this is not as tough as other circumstances. She should thank her lucky stars she's alive and that they caught it early. Last week, he continues, she came home from work and told me she wanted a hall pass, a one-time opportunity to have sex with someone else besides me. She said that since her cancer diagnosis, her outlook on life has changed and she doesn't want to be handcuffed from doing the things she wants to do. So she does not want to be handcuffed by the shackles of her wedding vows, forsaking all others. She explained that there is this guy at her work that she's always had some attraction to. He's leaving the company and she will never see him again, so this is the perfect opportunity to sleep with someone else. She said that I could say no, of course, but that she would be, quote, mad/disappointed at me for an indeterminate amount of time, and that it would be confirmation of my male toxicity and insecurity. So she wants to go and get her cheeks clapped by another man at work. And you're going to preemptively say that if your husband does not give you permission to go off and get your cheeks clapped by this mystery dude at work, this is a confirmation of your toxicity and insecurity. So a man not wanting his wife to go get fucked by someone else, that's that's toxic masculinity and insecurity. He continues, I don't consider myself to be toxic, and if not wanting your wife of 20 plus years to have sex with someone else is insecure, then I guess I'm insecure. I told her that I appreciated her talking to me about this, but approval via coercion is not approval. I also said that I do not appreciate her language describing my, as of yet, unknown reaction to this very large issue that could affect the rest of our marriage/life. Oh, this gets even better. I got up in the morning. She basically said that she was sorry for putting such a large decision solely on my shoulders, and that to, quote, help, she was taking the decision away from me. She booked a hotel where her coworkers are having the party / send-off for this guy, and she would spend the night there with him and hope that I would be there when she got back. You have got to be fucking kidding me. You have got to be fucking kidding me. This woman wants to go have sex with another man. And she hopes that he'll be there when she gets back? Seriously?
Really, nigga?
Then she said that she would answer any questions I have about the night after it happened, but not before. Oh, so she wants to ask for forgiveness, not permission. I can ask about everything, I can ask about what happened, but I can't ask before. She will not tell me who he is or anything about him because she knows me well, because she said she knows me too well, and I will dwell and obsess over him. Yeah, no kidding. Of course he's going to dwell and obsess over this dude. You went over and smashed him. And it would make me, and that it would make it, quote, too real for me, which is pretty accurate. Her point of view is that the less I know, the better, which contradicts the offer to tell me anything I want to know after it happened. I think she knows I won't want to know / ask anything, or she simply will not tell me. Part of me thinks at least she's been honest with me, and she has been through a lot since finding out she had cancer, so maybe I should just let it happen. I certainly have no concept of what she went through, so I cannot dismiss how this affected her mental state / outlook on life. Part of me wants to put my foot down and say this is not going to happen and deal with those consequences when they happen. Her BFF called me callous for even suggesting that I wouldn't let it happen because I have no idea what she went through. So her best friend his wife's best friend called the husband callous for even suggesting that he wouldn't let this happen because he has no idea what she went through. I find it hard to believe that she is okay with the possibility of throwing away 20 plus years of marriage over some guy that she has had no relationship with outside of work that she knows of. Kyle 2020 says she's dying, she doesn't care. No, Kyle, she's stage 1 uterine cancer. They got it out, she got a hysterectomy, she's fine. So she's not dying. She's not dying. Over some guy she has had no relationship with outside of work and that I should just call her bluff. Maybe she thinks similarly that I won't throw away the marriage because of one encounter. I just don't know what to do. I empathize with her, and then in an instant later, I am angry with her. Part of me wants to know who this guy is. What does he look like? What's he got that's so enthralling for her? Is he just a safe option? Is he married? Does his wife know? Would I be a callous asshole for saying no? What else can I do besides walking away? My man, there isn't much for you to do. You see, your wife has already expressed a desire to cheat on you. She's already expressed a desire to cheat on you. And again, I want to be emotionally sensitive here because, guys, we are emotionally detached from the situation. It's very easy for us to say, just leave her, bro. But we haven't been with her for, 20-something years. 20 plus years, 22, 23 years. That being said, part of being a man is doing the thing that is hard to do. And the thing that is the most difficult to do is often synonymous with the right thing to do. The minute his wife came at him with this request to go and smash some other dude, he should have packed his bags and left. Easy to say because I'm not emotionally attached. I get it. And I'm not saying that, and I'm not, and I want to make it, I want you guys to understand that even though I'm speaking very flippantly about this, I understand that his decision to walk away and subsequent execution, not going to be easy. It's going to eat him alive. Totally get it. But just because it's easier said than done does not mean that it doesn't still have to be done. This is why men are walking away. This is why men are walking away, guys. I have, like, this has been my revelation. This is why men are walking away, man. You have a wife of 20 plus years who is using her sickness to get away with cheating on him. She is asking him permission to cheat and is telling him he's toxic if he doesn't allow. Even her friend is telling him he's a callous asshole. And we wonder why men are going overseas. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. It's incredible. All right, let me read these super chats here. Edward Cross with the $5 super chat says, thanks for everything you do. Appreciate that very, very much. Dre Raven with the $5 super chat says he needs to let her go free after she signs off on the divorce settlement his attorney drafts. Yep. Dr. B84 with the $5 super chat says, send her back to the street in the back alley next to the garbage can. This, quote, wife is not even good enough for the Goodwill free item rack. Dude. Crazy. Roadblock 85 with the $10 super chat says, modern women, gents, this shit is wild. This is, I mean, it's, we now have women straight up telling their husbands, I'm gonna fuck somebody, and if you're not here when I get back after fucking this guy, then that's it. That's it. CJ in the 562 says, guarantee this is a white couple and she is trying to smash a nigga. You might be right. You might be right. Curiosity, as they say, killed the cat. It's just, it is incredible. It is incredible to me that this woman had the gall to straight up tell her husband, you know what, I'm going to take the decision out of your hands. I'm going to go and fuck this dude. And if you're not here when I get back, then that's just a sign of your male toxicity. Only in America, y'all. Only in frickin' America. Okay, let us get to the main event. So, Lisa Ann, this is actually an adult film actress that I'm aware of. Lisa Ann got me back when I used to spank the monkey. Lisa Ann got me through some pretty lonely times in your boy's life. She had been in the industry for years and years. And by the way, guys, at the end of the broadcast, we are going to I'm gonna show you guys. Let's show you guys a few articles of clothing. We're gonna vote on Devin's outfit. Things like this. Don't worry, I'm not gonna do it now. But yeah, I'm thinking she's gonna be wearing these heels for sure tonight. The question is, what color will they be? Will they be white? Will they be red? Will they be pink? Right? And guys, I want you to understand something. A lot of guys, a lot of men and women ask, Donovan, why is it that you make your woman get all dolled up and dressed up just for sex? And the reason why, guys, this is my porn. That's why I put so much into this. Okay? I don't watch porn. I don't masturbate. Okay? But I'm a man. I'm 46. I'm not 26. I'm not 46. Or I'm not 26. But I don't want to, because again, whacking off to spicy movies, it fucks with your head, fucks with your relationship. You get electronic dysfunction. Jesus. You get erectile dysfunction. You start, it really, really, really warps your mind. And so what I've done is I have created a woman with the kind of body that most people would spank the monkey to on the internet, who happens to be my fiance. So yeah, me doing all the stuff and all the panties and all this is my pornography. This is my foreplay. This is what I do. I don't know that I've ever explained that to Devin before. But Devin, if you're watching, yeah, that's why I do this. This is my porn. I don't watch porn. I, in essence, create it, so to speak. Onlyfans.com/Donovan Sharp. Totally kidding. Totally kidding. All right, anyway, stick around for that. All right. Anyway, speaking of spicy movies, Lisa Ann recently sat down with Danny Miranda. Okay. We're already getting suggestions. King Life says red thong, white heels, and a blue dress. I've actually got all of those. So, without further ado, let's take a look.
Important person in the whole equation. The doc once a month is a great reminder in life.
Whoa, what the hell?
You are the most important person in the whole equation, and you have to see yourself as the most important part in the whole equation. You are going to be your best you when you take care of you. People take better care of their cars than they take care of themselves.
Ain't that the truth?
Lisa, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me and coming all the way from Austin to have this conversation in person.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So I'd love to start with you winning a creative writing contest in 5th grade.
It's a great start.
That's a great start. She does not want to talk about porn, so I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Just give me a second. I'm going to play it a little faster. When we get to the juicy stuff,
Father secretly entered me into a creative writing contest. He was an artist. He designed greeting cards, and he was the creative person in my family. He was a World War II photographer. He had a collection of selfies that he used to shoot and then write love letters on the back.
Ken Rose with the $5 super chat. Appreciate that very much, my friend.
To send to my grandmother during the war, which I now have all of those photos, which is amazing. And he truly believed in my creative side, and really nobody else in my family was there. So he secretly entered me in. And when I won, he said, "You're going to get a visitor at school today." And I was in my class, and it was the Easton Express, which is our local newspaper. And the photographer came in and said, "I want you to act natural and just be doing your work at your desk." And there they took photos of me, and I was on the cover of the newspaper. And to me, that was like my first taste of fame, because like all my aunts and uncles had it on their coffee table, and it was framed in our house, and everybody talked about it. And so that was a very special moment, and that also has always been embedded in my mind to remind me to keep writing.
Well, it's interesting because you blog to this day. And in doing research for this, I
boy.
found your blogs and you're writing during quarantine. You're writing even as recently as like putting up book club posts in the past week. So like, why is writing so important to you?
I'll tell you why. What's this guy's name? I'll tell you why, Danny. Because art, how can I put this? And this is from way back in like episode 30. One of the surefire slut tells of modern women is that they have an artistic hobby, but they're really bad at it. Like, dude, every slut I ever banged, poked, whatever the case may be, they like to paint terribly. There's a couple bitches that were into pottery. One girl liked to sing. She was bad at it. Another girl liked to play it. It's like being a slut. It really, really does a mind job on you. Okay? It really does a mind job on you. And, well, the only way to really express those feelings is artistic expression. Now, obviously, I guess Lisa did this creative writing thing when she was a kid, and good for her. But the reason she continues that to this day is because of her chosen career path.
I think it's an art that we've lost touch with. I still like to handwrite letters to friends. I still handwrite cards. I just find it a way to silently express myself. It's the perfect way to be still.
What did I tell you?
I write every night before I go to bed. I write a bunch of captions in my phone. Sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. But then like once a month, I'll go through all of them and see if I want to compile them into a blog, or if I want to use them on a photo that I didn't use.
Captions, translation, inspirational quotes. Bitches love inspirational quotes, guys. They love inspirational quotes. Dude, this is just how they are. So far, so accurate.
Them on. And most of it is like capturing the mood of the moment of the day and really letting it go and putting it down in the notes. And then when I do go back and read them, I'm like, oh, that's super cute. Like you felt that way, because we can forget. We go to sleep, we wake up the next day, and the next day starts, and you have your list of things you're doing and your meetings or whatever, and you can forget how great something felt the day before. And I feel like without writing it down and really acknowledging it, putting it on paper or putting it in the notepads of your phone, you're acknowledging that something made you feel special about your day. And
you see how excited she is to talk about this? Remember, she said this was a good start. So she didn't want to talk about her career right out of the gate. She didn't want to talk about her career right out of the gate. But what Lisa is, I don't know. I mean, maybe she's cognizant of this. The only reason why anybody knows who you are is because of pornography, right? It's almost like every once in a while, a kid will get lucky. A kid will get lucky, and he'll create a video, gets 1 million views, goes viral, right? Goes viral, you know, he gets a bunch of subscribers. Well, then the person starts doing videos he wants to do, right? But then the channel ends up becoming dead because, well, they expected content similar to the viral content. They end up falling off. Well, this is what's happened to Lisa Ann. Nobody gives a damn about her winning a writing contest in the 5th grade. Nobody cares about that. No. We want to hear about how taking BBCs for the better part of 2 decades has affected your life. So already she's trying to separate herself from what she already knows she is.
That acknowledgement is really important to us, remembering to thank ourselves for the experiences that we're having in our daily lives.
It's beautiful. Do you have any you could share with us?
Oh, yeah, I have a couple that I got for my girl.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Nope. Oh, no. I am not. Nope.
Help
Nope.
myself.
Sorry.
Became a social.
No, don't give a fuck. I just don't care.
But that most people will never see that.
First impressions mean a lot, right? When we see a retired athlete, we always refer to them as the NFL player in them. They might have stopped playing NFL when they were 27 and they've been doing real estate and they're 50, but we're still going to call them an NFL player first, right? So I have that clear understanding of how we get labeled in who we've been. What's hard is like the
labeled. No, Lisa, no. See, when she says how we get labeled, that's disingenuous, guys. She's acting like people are labeling you because of what they think. Now, some people do label people because of what they think, but why do they think that way? Well, because they've observed something. Lisa Ann is a porn star. That's not a label. That's what you did for a living. Nobody gave you that label, Lisa. You did. So when we talk about labeling people, and I know she's not saying this out loud, but it's almost like she's indirectly giving the responsibility of her only being known for porn onto us. Well, when you get labeled and labels, sweetheart, labels exist for a reason, baby.
medium of social media. And like today I did a live and it was wild. I would say 400 of the 500 people in there were just making aggressive sexual comments to me, you know, telling me to take my top off, just, you know, all the weirdness of and the things that people are willing to say. And I think my existence would be different 30 years ago without social media, because I wouldn't be constantly reminded how some people see me. I would only be reminded
how some people see you, huh? How do some people see you, Lisa? It's so funny how sex workers and porn stars, they try and act like, well, this is just like any other job. This is just like being in the NFL. It's just like, no. Being a sex worker is one thing. Being a sex worker is one thing, right? If you're an escort, prostitute, stripper, most people don't know you've done that unless you tell them. But when you're a mattress actress, everybody knows. That's the difference. A girl can tell you all she wants to about her past. You'll never really know. You will never really know just how depraved her past was, which works to her advantage, right? Works to her advantage. Not today. Not for adult film actresses. Oh, no. Every one of their notches is right up there in maybe not in 4K for Lisa Ann. But everybody has seen every 9, 10, 11-inch sausage, sometimes often at the, like, we are all aware of what you've done.
of my in-person experiences with the people that know me and that see me as I truly am, like the layers to me. So I do my best to just be like, okay, I get it. Like I will say to everyone on Instagram, and I did today, I'm like, just remember that when you're making those creepy comments, all you're doing is reminding us that you have no sex.
So,
and I have empathy for those who have no sex, because life is much better with sex. So you're just,
here she goes.
flying your flag and shouting out to the world that nobody wants to have sex with you. And that's really how I kind of calm them down a little bit.
Hey, you know what, Lisa? You're probably right. You're probably right. People who come into your lives and shout obscenities at you, take off your top, show us your tits, blah, 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 blah. Listen, man, anybody who's got time to sit around and troll a 51-year-old porn star, I agree. Probably an incel. That does not mean that they're incorrect. Sweet cheeks. Like, if that makes you feel better at night that some incel is trolling you, well, they're not having sex. Okay, Lisa, but that doesn't mean you're not still all the way used up.
That's the reality. Anybody who's speaking like that is potentially an incel or potentially someone who has just this one track obsession. And Fridays.
Yeah, hey, right on all counts, Lisa. Doesn't change the facts. Doesn't change. Look, I'm sure all the people who troll you are losers, and I'm not saying that facetiously because the people who troll me are losers. But guess what? Guess what? That does not mean that you're not still a porn star. That's all there is to it. You can call them all kinds of names, Lisa. They're going to see you the way they see you.
Are by far the worst day to do any lives, because I find that people are burned out of their jobs. They're the most aggressive, and people that are lonely on Fridays are facing that they're going to be lonely for 2 days without even seeing their coworkers. So if you think about the psychology of the very lonely person, a Friday is a dark day. The rest of us, a Friday is a great day because we're going to be like seeing all of our friends Saturday and Sunday, going to brunch, walking around, and
Yeah. So now what she's saying is that, hey, look, I'd rather have my life than their life, right? I'd rather have my life than their life. I'd rather be a retired porn star than be someone sexless on the weekend. Oh, I get to go to brunch and da-da-da-da-da.
Stop the cap.
Stop it, Lisa. Stop it.
telling strangers we love them. So I don't let myself get mixed up in not knowing who I am. I've always known who I am. And that's what's made me very different than a lot of people that I've met in the industry, especially. I knew I wasn't there to get sucked up in the lifestyle. I knew I wasn't there to get drugs. I knew I wasn't there to have an alcohol problem. I knew I was there to be financially independent, travel and see the world, and make my own schedule. That's why.
Hey, you know what? Now, this is actually, she's right about this. She's right about this. Lisa Ann is better off than most retired porn actresses. Most retired adult film actresses, their lives are an abject disaster. An abject disaster. Dude, Janine Lindemulder was, oh my God, Julia Ann. Man, dude, watch After Porn Ends, After Porn Ends 2, and After Porn Ends 3. After Porn Ends parts 1 and part of part 2, boy, that showed the dark side. That showed you what the rule is. But they decided to clean it up a little bit in parts 2 and 3. Well, let's take a look at the adult film actresses who are retired that aren't doing so bad. Make no mistake. Most retired adult film actresses, their lives are dumpster fires. Lisa Ann happens to be an exception. She's still, she's 51. She looks great. She still looks great. Right? For a 51-year-old, but yeah, that's...
I was there and I stuck very true to that.
Yeah, but what happened the first time you were offered weed?
The very first time I was ever offered weed at a strip club by a bunch of girls who I shouldn't have trusted, but I did. If you've seen the movie Friday, there's that scene where Smokey is in the chicken coop because he had the angel dust.
My God. Oh, boy. Wow. Listen, look. You guys already knew. You guys already knew what it was with Lisa Ann. Now this bitch is sitting here quoting Friday? She's sitting here quoting Friday? Oh, my goodness. Yes, sir.
That was me. Except I was very lucky. I was trained well by a woman who got me my fake ID and got me dancing. And she was like, look, always have money when you go to the club.
Fake ID and got me dancing. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams, who made me aware of this video. So this is an interview she did with Vlad TV. Well, actually, I don't even need to do that. I don't need to do that. You know what? I don't need to watch this. She got a fake ID and started stripping at 16 years old, guys. 16 years old. My guess is that she probably had a pretty chaotic upbringing. I think that's, and again, maybe, I don't know if she tells us about it or not. I'll tell you what, the only parts of this video that I've seen are what I saw on Manosphere Highlights Daily. So all of this is new to me. So we'll see.
When you walk in, tip everybody. Let everybody know you're going to always give them money. And so luckily, when those girls gave me that joint after work, I passed out in the dressing room. One of the bouncers, Bobby Quigley, I'll never forget his name because, he changed my life. He took me to a local hotel and sat there with me until I woke up. And there he was sitting at the edge of the bed. And I'll never forget what that hotel looks like, right? You wake up in such a stunning situation. And then he lectured me and he's like, these are not your friends. You don't do drugs with people you work with. You don't drink at the club. You don't do any of these things. And that one defining moment set me on this perfectly great path. Because I've always smoked weed, but smoking weed with strangers, my rule from that day on is if I don't roll it, I don't smoke it.
Makes sense.
Oh, well, good for you.
It's funny because you mentioned you were doing Instagram Live before, and there's a lot of comments that come in of negative people and negative situations. And one thing that when I was doing research for this, I found out that you do is you hire somebody to block all the negative comments on Instagram before you do, but you can't do that on a live.
No, and I don't have them block everybody. So I do the Instagram factor myself. But when it comes to YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, I have somebody that I call cleans the streets for me. And that person just gets rid of anybody. And the way I explain it to somebody when I'm training them is I'm building a community of like-minded people.
Yeah.
And so if you
Okay.
feel the ick from somebody, or if you see something is not
The ick.
like-minded, that's when we block that person. And right now Twitter is like Survivor Island because I made a New Year's resolution that I would no longer troll trolls. And so with that New Year's resolution comes blocking a lot more people because I know I'm so tempted to say something to you. Like there was a post under my book club of what I'm reading this month. A guy asked me, "What are you reading this month?" And like I so wanted to troll him back. I didn't block.
Why would you want to troll him back for asking, what did you read this month? Well, you know what? I empathize with her on some level. Kyle 2020 says echo chamber. Nah, I disagree. I think in this day and age, see, before the internet, we weren't really privy to criticism unless you read the newspaper. Unless you know, the movie critic said this, blah, 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 blah. But guys, we live in an age where we are privy to everyone's opinion of us 24/7. And most people's opinions are going to be negative. So you actually need, dare I say, a bunch of yes men. This is why Derek Jeter never read the newspaper or watched the news in New York, because it's New fucking York. People are always going to have something to say on the negative side. This is just how New Yorkers are. This is how people from the Northeast are. They thrive on negative stuff. Oh, he's terrible. Get him out of town. He's the worst shortstop ever. So I empathize with her on some level because I too hire people to, in essence, clean the streets for my YouTube channel. So I get it. I understand that part.
Block him because I didn't feel that was offensive enough to block. But you know, I get a lot of comments on the daily of you were better when you had dicks in your mouth. You know, I get a lot of comments like that. So those are people where I'm like, okay, we don't need to be friends, and I'm blocking you. So I do have a team of people that help me keep my social media from affecting my mental health.
Yeah.
But did he lie? Just asking.
Well, it's weird because we've never before been exposed to all of the world's opinions at all of the same time and know all of the things that are happening in other parts of the world. And also, like, and it's weird because in the past there was more stakes for when someone said something. And perhaps that's why I like doing this podcast, because there's actual stakes on the line of like saying something. If you say something wrong, there's a consequence to it. And so what's been your experience like of navigating through social media? What are some of the tips you could give people for making the most out of it since you've been on social media for so long?
I think you have to look at it like a tool. It's easier for me because I remember having a fan club by mail when I first started in the industry, and that was a lot of work, you know, a lot of opening mail, a lot of putting a newsletter together monthly. So when social media came, I was like, oh my gosh, I can reach everybody, you know, with my phone or online. You have to be in the right frame of mind to engage. And I know that everybody has different engagements, but a lot of women get harassed. Doesn't matter if you've been in the adult industry or not. It doesn't matter. I see men say,
Here we go. Okay. All right. Now here comes the feminist bullshit. I see a lot of women get harassed. Really, Lisa? Seriously? What about the women who get worshipped? What about basic bitches who have 1 million fucking followers? What about girls who are making $100,000 a month on OnlyFans for feet pics? Women get harassed online. Yeah, small price to fucking pay for being able to literally monetize your genetics. If you are born a good-looking female in the world, specifically America, you can write your own ticket and get whatever you want, including a marriage and kids. But goddamn, well, females are getting harassed. Really?
things to women all day. It's a very sexualized space that everyone feels it's never going to come back to them, whether it's a burner account or they don't have a photo of them. So I always tell people who are new to the space or who are trying to really build a brand, like, be prepared when you're ready to engage. Don't be hungry. Don't be tired. Don't be cranky. You know, be in a good frame of mind where you can go on and you can have good conversations, and don't let the negative outweigh the positive, because you will make friends. You will meet people that you're going to cross paths with. I've made some great friends on social media that I'm now in-person friends with. So if you look at the risk versus reward, the risk is all about you. Court of public opinion, people have no regulator anymore. They'll say whatever they want and not think about it at all. So you can't let that person derail you from the mission of creating this community.
Yeah, that's a
What community is Lisa Ann creating? I mean, like what? I mean, does she just want friends or what?
something that I realized as well is, like, when I meditate before going on social media, it is an entirely different experience. And it's something I don't think a lot of people talk about. It's like the state you enter into the conversation with.
And also, like, I don't do it right before I go to bed. Because I don't want that in my mind last thing before I go to bed. That's my time to either read or watch a show that I like or text with my friends. And I think so many people don't make that switch over. They think they have to constantly be engaging on social. It's like, no, it's okay to go and engage with your people that you love, check in on them for the weekend, as opposed to always feeling like you got to do more and you got to do more.
Yeah. I would love to talk to you about your earliest role model, Peggy. Why is she, or why was she so impactful for you?
She was just
Peggy.
such a kind person. You know, she was just so good to the core. She was my dad's yard touched her yard. She had the original farmhouse. So in older places like Pennsylvania, there was always like one farmhouse that was close to the road because that's how they would make deliveries, and they owned all the land. Eventually, that farmer would sell to developers, and that farmer would decide if that farmhouse was staying or if they were going to demolish it. She so happened to be in one that was probably built in the 1800s. And
Wow.
she never had children. Her husband passed away when I was about 8 years old. She never remarried. And so we became really good friends young. And she taught me to bake. I mean, she would make sticky buns from scratch every Saturday morning for the
Oh,
neighbors.
wow.
And so
She's a good
I would go
lady.
over there and bake with her. She taught me to sew. And so when I would get invited to a wedding or an event in my family after school, we'd go buy the fabric, we'd go buy the pattern, and then we'd take a month. And every day after
So this was basically a surrogate mother. So now begs the question, what happened to her mother?
school, I would look forward to going to her house, working on this for like 2 hours. I never heard her swear.
While I'm listening to this, I'm going to start getting paid for this here pretty soon. Tonight is action night. I'm going to beat the brakes off Dev. I'm going to take this Black Bull Extreme. The last time I took it, I didn't bust the nut. I didn't come. I had a bunch of dry orgasms. It was awesome. Let's continue.
I never heard her say anything negative about anybody. I never heard her gossip. She only had a positive outlook and only embraced the positive things in life. She loved nature. She had a beautiful garden. She raised irises. And so there'd be this like month in spring where we'd sit out on her patio drinking lemonade and just looking at just like this sea of purple blues for the irises. And she would let everybody come into her yard, take flowers, take vegetables out of her garden. She had a well. So I would go to her house to drink water because well water is so different than tap water.
Yes,
So
it
she had
is.
this well, and this fresh, cold water. But she was just a substance in my life, and I grew up in a very inconsistent upbringing. Parents got divorced when I was young.
Inconsistent upbringing. Parents divorced when they were young. Here
They
we go.
both never got over it. They were very nasty to each other. My
Here we
dad
go.
quit his job and worked under the table, so my mom didn't get child support. Like, so my mom struggled, and then she complained, and then he complained. And it was just
There it is. There it is. There it is. It's called Black Bull Extreme. Black Bull Extreme, guys. That's the product. Yep, Black Bull Extreme. All I can tell you is that it works. Okay? It absolutely, positively fucking works.
she was a stable force for me. And she was someone who showed me so much about life that I didn't even know, you know, when I was around her, how much she was rubbing off on her. I think about her every day. And when I read my second audiobook, out of all the horrible things that happened to me in the life back, the hardest things to read was the chapter when I talked about walking to see her at the cemetery for the first time.
Oh.
Because it was so real to me that she was
Okay, so this woman, Peggy, was a positive influence in her life. Good for her.
no longer there. And I had her till I was 43 years old. She wrote me a letter every
Wow.
week since I was out on my own. A handwritten letter, you know, date in the corner, just a letter about like what she did that week, you know, what the weather was like. Just like I still have all her letters, but she was just solid. She was my person. She was the most consistent love I ever got. She knew that I was
Keep in mind that Black Bull Extreme, it doesn't taste bad, but it doesn't really taste very good either.
going to leave Pennsylvania. She called me Daredevil from the time I was a kid. She just knew I had a big mind and a big level of curiosity, and she was so supportive of me leaving Pennsylvania and going to California. Like every gamble
wow.
I took, she would be like, well, you
Whoa.
got to do it because you got to try it. If you don't like it, then you just don't do it again. Like she was really 100% there.
What about
Wow.
you made her take such a liking in you?
I don't know. You know, I don't know if it was because she didn't have children of her own. I don't know if she felt bad because
That would
she
be
could
it.
see how broken my family was.
Uh-oh.
She didn't have the gift to have children.
There it is. Comes from a broken family. There we go. There we go, guys. We talk about this stuff all the time. Women are always, how can I put this? Women are always, they always like to say, well, date single mothers. They've been through a lot. They'll treat you better. Nope, that's cap. Well, just because a woman comes from a broken home doesn't mean, nope. That's exactly what it means.
And she would have been the best mother that ever walked the planet, right? So I think I was almost like her child. You know, she was like a mom to me, a dad to me, grandmother, a friend. When I was getting married, she offered Mike and I her house. And she does not like her sister,
Wait a minute. She was married? Oh, I didn't know she was married.
but she said, you guys are getting married. I want to give you my house
Wow.
because I'd love for you to live here. And it was like,
whoa.
and she's like, I'll live with my sister. And I was like, well, first of all, I wasn't speaking to my father and I couldn't
Damn, this
imagine living in a yard that touched his. There are millions of times
wasn't speaking to my father. There it is. Daddy issues. It all fits. It all
I'd be on
fits.
her patio and he'd be cutting the lawn and we'd see him and he would never come over and say hi. And that
Tony Esquire, wow, with the $10 super chat says, women are like the vampires from the Blade films in that they want all the strengths of men, but none of its weaknesses. Sex work isn't a springboard to respectable endeavors. That simple. Real talk. Look, Sex work is real work. It is real work, but we all know what people think of sex workers, guys. It's not a label, it's not a stereotype, it's just what it is. And this is interesting. A lot of people say, okay, you're talking all this shit about Lisa Ann. If she wanted to smash, you would totally do it. No, I wouldn't. Are you serious? No, I would not. Dude, I would never, ever knowingly have sex with a porn star. No way. No way. Nope, sorry. Like, dude, you've had double-digit inch dicks in you at the same time. The hell am I gonna do? I mean, I'm a pretty good size. I'm above average, but I'm not. Shit. I'm not. Jason, what's his face that smashed Adam 22's wife? I'm not him. I don't have 5 dicks. No way. No way. I would never, ever, ever. Like, not only that, to me, that would be disgusting. That would be disgusting. All of the time she's been busted in, all of the load she's taken to the face, all of the load she's... No way. No way. No way. Dude, no. Ooh, to me, that is disgusting. That is oh, Jason Love. That's him. Okay, well, I guess you guys all know who he is. No, I would never, ever, ever. No. That would just be, that to me, like, that is, like, that's, to me, a civilian, as Sterling Cooper calls it, having sex with a porn star, that to me is unsanitary. That to me, it's just unsanitary, man. I mean, I'm not trying to call, I mean, I'm sure Lisa is a very lovely person. She seems to have a pretty good head on her shoulders, to be honest with you. She seems like a decent woman. But I've also seen the things that she has done in front of the camera. No way. No. Porn stars are the top 1% in dick size. I'm not in the top 1%. How the hell is she gonna feel my thing? No fucking way. No way. Wouldn't do it. Big Boss Moneybags with the $50 super chat. Says, I am 40 years old, and thanks to you, my relationship of 20 years has never been better. Since I found the red pill, you have been the most influential person in my life. Every day I listen to your content on YouTube, Rumble, or TSR. Can't thank you enough for all the knowledge. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Wow. That's, I appreciate that, Big Boss Moneybags. I take screenshots of stuff like that just to remind me of what I'm doing this, for. Yeah, Lena the Plug. Yes. Oh, no. No. Yager Juarez says, didn't Rolo say a little bit of male DNA stays in after he busts in a woman? Yeah, it's a theory. It's called microcamerism. Women who regularly have unprotected sex, like the DNA is still floating around in there somewhere. And I believe that to an extent. I do. I believe it to an extent. A lot of girls are like, well, no, no. You don't know that. Fuck that.
That just crushed her, because she would say to me, like, I can't imagine what it's like to have children and not talk to them. I didn't even get to have children. Like, to her, that was so... But when she offered us her house, I was like, okay, that's wild. It's incredibly sweet. We cannot take your house. I did not want to live with a yard, and I didn't want to live back in Easton, but that's how much I meant to her. So I think she looked at me like her child.
Wow. A couple of things on that. One is, have you given the same gift that Peggy gave to you to anyone else?
I do it every day of my life.
Oh.
My life exists of, if you met...
No, Lisa, don't do that. Don't do that, Lisa. Don't do that. You are not the woman Peggy was, okay? You're not half the woman Peggy was. Stop it. You're not offering people houses. You're not teaching them how to cook and how to sew. Don't even do that. And again, this is another case of a woman thinking that her very existence is, just good enough to be making an impact on people's lives.
The younger friends that I have in the city, from my photographer to her friends to other people, they'll all tell you that I'm their mom in the city.
Wow.
They'll all tell you that they know if they needed anything, no matter what, I'd be there. And I try to live as much of Peggy in my everyday life as possible all the time, to the fact of like how I am to people in my building, how I am to the neighborhood around me. She talked to everybody. And so I talk to everybody, and I do manifest Peggy in my space every day.
That's beautiful. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up was about your parents. And you said in your first audiobook, you said, my parents will never forgive me for doing porn. What was that like? And did the relationship end as soon as you started doing porn? And then like, how do you think about that today, that relationship or lack of it with your parents?
My relationship ended permanently in 2015 when I let my parents know that I wrote a book, which I thought they would both be super stoked about, but they weren't. And it invoked a different response in them both. And I wrote about that in my new book, The Life Back. My dad, he only talked to you about what he wanted to talk about, so he would just change the subject. So with him, I got no response. With my mom, I got a really horrified response of like, well, what did you talk about? So I think she felt more embarrassment for neglect in my childhood, for things that happened to me in my childhood that I addressed with her that she never did anything about. So it was both. But if I go back to when I got in the business, I didn't have either of my parents in my life then. So I didn't have my mom in my life from 13 to 24.
Wow. Didn't have mom in her life from 13 to 24. Jesus.
And I didn't have my dad in my life from 16 to 40.
Wow.
So I was making decisions way before they had any say in the matter. And at the same time, they didn't survey the situation. Like
I was making decisions.
Thrilled in today's world as a sex worker. I meet so many more people that their parents support them and love them unconditionally. But to my parents, I felt like they kind of used it as an excuse to be even worse parents and made it seem like, well, how did I get there? How did I feel that that was my only option? How did I feel that that was the only way I was going to not be in the same situation?
Hey, look. I'll give her credit here. Like, she was failed by her parents. Guys. She was failed by her parents. And when you are a young, attractive woman who is failed by her parents, holy smokes. It was, that's it. Jay Blaze says it was over for her quick. Dude, holy moly. Holy schmoly. Now we know. Now we're starting to get some background. On this. Monaco Rain says she's making sense, though. Absolutely. Her parents were shitty parents. How do we know? Well, your daughter ended up a porn star. That's how we know.
They were. Because to me, building that kind of instant wealth was my guarantee that I was never going to be like my mom, who got pregnant and had kids by a guy who didn't want to give her money. I was never going to be like my dad because I was never going to be bitter and holding on to money.
And that's interesting. I wonder why dad decided to work under the table so he didn't have to pay mom child support. Yeah, men do that when the mom's a bitch. Yeah, Roderick Thomas says, I want to hear the dad side. Yeah. No, I get it. I want to hear dad's side too. I want to hear his side too. Because there's usually a very good reason as to why a man does not want to pay a woman child support.
So I created that freedom for myself, and they could never see that. And so anytime I would go home, and I will say this, the first year after knowing that I lost them permanently in 2015, I had hoped that they'd read my book and come back into my life. They didn't. And so that first year was hard because I was like, oh my gosh, here I am again. Holidays are hard. Birthdays are hard. All of those things are hard. And then the second year I realized how much better I felt about myself. Because every time I was in my mom's presence, she would make it a point at least once a day to dig at me and be like, well, we can't invite you to this thing because look what you did to our family. Look what you did. And I wrote about it in my new book. When my grandfather died, I was just with him.
See, yeah. Her parents were bad people, guys. Her parents were bad people. They're the reason why she ended up in porn, but then they used that against her.
So one of the reasons I got an apartment here in the city was to be able to take the bus back home to and from Easton, because at that point, the last 3 years of Peggy's life, she was in a nursing home, and the last 4 years of my grandfather's life, he was in a nursing home. So I was home a lot. I would just do my runs. I would get dropped off. There was one nursing home close, and my mom would pick me up and go to the next nurse. I would just back and forth. And I was just with my grandfather a couple of days before, and he passed away. But my mom didn't tell me he passed away until like 5 days later.
Oh,
and I found out that
What? Dude, her fucking parents were evil. God damn.
He had a service by my dad telling me, just freaking out on me for not coming home for my grandfather's funeral. And so I reached out to my mom, and she's like, well, we decided we weren't going to do anything. And I'm like, well, I found out you did do something. And she's like, well, your brother didn't want you there, and we're pretty embarrassed by you, and we didn't want to have you there. So in that sense, I realized, so you're lying to everybody in your life because you'd rather me be like some drug addicted, waste case. But if I show up at this service and people are like, she seems like she's okay, then you're flipping the script. So to lie to me about that was like the beginning. That was 2014. I remember thinking to myself, like, I think this is unforgivable. Like, I think this is, they wouldn't have told me about Peggy. Peggy's neighbor called me and told me. And I was on the road on a feature dance date. And I went to the club and I'm like, I'm going to quit this booking if you can't get me a driver and take me back to Pennsylvania. I was like in Connecticut, so it was close. But either way, I knew I was not missing Peggy's service, no doubt. But my parents didn't tell me. So that constant guilt was what I know now as their way to deflect the fact that they could not admit that they kind of sucked as parents.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, she's making sense. She's making sense, man. Her parents were shitty fucking people, dude. Her parents were shitty people. Wow. Oh, wow. Eesh, Jesus. I wouldn't want to hang around my family either.
And they don't want to take the blame themselves, so it's much easier to blame me. And it is what it is.
You can see it still hurts, man. You can see it still hurts, man.
They don't want to take the blame themselves, so it's much easier to blame me. And it is what it is.
See? That sucks, man. You know what I mean? Like you can tell it still hurts her, man. It still hurts. Ay. Damn.
Having parents who love you and support you is the greatest gift that anyone could get, And I struggle to give people advice on that when I was parented so well and given so much love by my parents. And so I often ask people who weren't parented well but seem like they're in a good position in life in the sense of feeling love for themselves, giving love to other people, and feeling whole. Like, what do you do? Like, how do you get to that place?
It takes longer.
Yeah.
There's a fast track that's involved with people that have great parents. And I saw it very young when I was like meeting different friends when I first moved out west. I could see a difference in problem solving skills, in patience, in radical behavior. You don't see those things in people who came from loved homes. So I was able to like see it and identify it, but I was also able to see it as something I wanted. So just because
okay. All right. Okay. So, this is how can I put this? I have a little more respect now for Lisa Ann because she seems to be she's self-aware, number one, and she pays attention, right? She was able to, okay, here's, I know I know how I act. These are the decisions I make. This is how I move through the world. But these people are moving through the world differently. What's the common denominator? Oh yeah, they had a stable environment at home. That takes some, to be doing what she was doing porn, but to be able to have the presence of mind and the wherewithal to recognize that this is what comes with coming from a stable home. That to me, that tells me that she actually has some brains, which is good.
I didn't get it. Didn't mean I couldn't learn from them.
Yeah.
So you end up gravitating towards friends that had a great upbringing and learning from them. It takes longer, but you'll get there.
Yeah.
There's so many great books out. There's so many great speakers. Now at the internet age, you can watch on YouTube, you can learn, and it's about...
Yeah, but this is the problem. And I've said this many, many times before. And you guys might be hearing this for the first time. It is impossible for a woman to love herself if a man doesn't love her first. Okay? Women are incapable, gentlemen, of self-love. Self-love for women is a myth. Okay? They're just built differently. They're different emotionally. Their chemistry is different. This is why girls develop daddy issues, guys. Let me repeat that. A woman can never love herself unless a man loves her first. There is no such thing as self-love for a woman, because a woman's self-worth, whether that's love, lust, admiration, whatever the case may be, is dependent upon men. A woman is worth nothing if a man doesn't show that she's worth anything. A woman could think she's the most beautiful woman in the world. If the world doesn't treat her like that, then she's not. A woman could say, well, everybody wants to fuck me, but if guys are not trying to fuck her, then we know she's not fuckable. The only reason women know their sexual worth is because of men. The same thing goes with relationship worth. A woman cannot love herself unless a man loves her first. This is why women who grow up with absentee fathers or abusive fathers or a bad father situation, this is why they end up in pornography. This is why they end up in sex work. Because part of them is looking for the male validation they never got as a little girl. When little girls grow up with good fathers who show them that unconditional love, those girls are much more difficult to pull the wool over on. Right? We've all seen the meme, who doesn't love a girl with daddy issues? Yeah, girls with daddy issues are easy to fuck because they're looking for that male approval, right? But when a little girl grows up with the right kind of male approval, all that slick talking game shit, that doesn't work on them. That doesn't work on them. Yo, I was wondering if I could, holler at you for a second. Holler at me? I'm not from the hood, nigga. Fuck out of here. Right? Why don't you go ahead and marinate on that for a little while? Nigga, that's from goddamn Outkast. Try again. All this little slick talking ma and this and that shit doesn't work on women who have strong fathers. They don't need that nigga's approval because they know that at the end of the day, their father is always going to love them. Well, when you grow up without that fatherly love, you end up looking for that fatherly love in other ways. And there are plenty of men out there who are willing to make your acquaintance and help you find all the fatherly love you can handle. Tony Esquire with the $10 super chat says, Donovan will like this analogy. Says a woman's sexuality is similar, oh boy, similar to NFL running backs in that they have a small window to make money. Becoming a bride requires avoiding an ACL injury, i.e. sex work. Oh boy, oh boy. Very nice. Very, very nice. That is a very, very good analogy, my friend. That is a very good analogy. Big Tay 85. Welcome to chat privileges. At Big Tay 85 to welcome him to the TSR family. If you would, Big Tay, put your age and location in the chat as is customary of all of our first channel members. Let's do a chat-wide age and location chat. The reason we do this is because you never know. Somebody watching this could live in your city, they could live in your neighborhood, they could live in your block, they could even live in your building. That's just how that's just how that works. So let's everybody put our age and location in the chat. This is how we build like-minded communities. Tony Esquire with the $5 super chat, pardon me, says, strange, isn't it? No one seems to care about the plight of making it in life as a male. Lisa Ann made her bed, and from what I saw, she slept well. Yeah, it appears that's the case. The out here member for 18 months said prawn stars really think men should respect them. Yeah, exactly. Let's continue.
Loving yourself first, and then building your own family around you. Blood, though they say it's thicker than water, you can make friendships that give you love, that make you feel whole, and you just have to make them. So I observed.
No, look, I get it. Okay, I understand. You can make a group of friends who are your family. You know what they say? Friends are the family you choose. I get it, but nothing, and I mean nothing, can replace the fatherly love that she missed. Nothing can replace that. And she has to tell herself this stuff so that she doesn't become suicidal, but it's just not true. You can have all of the friends and all of the self-help books, you can have all that. Nothing is going to undo the damage that not having a father has done to her. Not her fault, but that doesn't mean it's not true.
And I looked around, and it was easy to see the difference too when it came into different walks of life.
See that?
A lot more people in the industry come from broken homes, and so I could see a lot of us working harder to try and find our way to have more stability. And I could see us gravitating towards people that had that. But when my
working harder, in other words, doing more scenes.
Friends are like bickering with their parents or being stubborn with their parents, I am the first one to be like, your fucking parents love you, and they have loved you, and your parents are amazing. Do not do that, because just remember, you have a friend that has no parents. And remember how different that is. Yeah. So I think it's easy to take them for granted when you've had them. So we both need each other. I need my friends who have great families to bring me in, let me be around their families. And they need me to remind them, like, be good to your family. They're good people.
Would you have gotten into the industry if you had loved yourself?
Probably.
No.
It depends, right? I knew I wasn't gonna.
She can't answer that. She can't answer that because she has no idea what it's like to have genuine self-love as a result of a good father. She has no idea. So she can't really answer. She'll try, but I don't think she can.
Have an opportunity to go to college. That was a big one for me. And at that age, in the 80s, we were still in the belief system, because this was before you could be a content creator. This was before the internet. We had this belief system that you had to go to college to make a certain amount of money.
Right.
So a lot of this comes down to timing, right? When you were born, what you were exposed to. And so I already felt I was starting at a disadvantage because I wasn't going to have the opportunity to go to college. I already knew that I wanted to get as far away from my family as soon as I could, when I could make enough money to move to another state. And I wanted.
Okay, so that was clearly her purpose. Guys, don't forget, we've got the Labor Day sale going on. To celebrate Labor Day, I am taking 50% off all books and courses. Every book, every course, 50% off. Use promo code LABOR, and we will shop half price off your shopping cart. This is on all products, how to build a quality woman from the ground up, the ultimate shit test guide, Womanese, relationship foundation fundamentals, the masculine excellence lifestyle kit, the 49 laws of star. You name it, it is all 50% off. Go to csracademy.com now and use promo code LABOR to get 50% off. Let's continue.
I lived in California because I was obsessed with the show 90210, and I wanted to live where it was sunny all the time, and I wanted to see what it was like to live by the beach, which I did for 15 years of my life. So in a sense, like, if I put myself in a different situation with my family, would I have still made those choices? Maybe not, because it would have been harder to go to them and pitch the case, like, hey, this is what I want to do. I know you think it's really crazy, but I'm going to make great money doing it, and I'm doing it, right? So I can't really put myself in that spot, but I was always thinking from survival. So I was thinking from survival and self-preservation. And when you
There it is. Okay, there it is. Look, survival and self-preservation. Survival and self-preservation. Lisa Ann did this as a means to an end. She did this as, listen, no woman ever wants to get fucked on camera for money because she has to, right? If a woman has an option to make money without mattress actressing, yeah, they are definitely going to take it. But she just said survival, self-preservation. Gentlemen, women this is never far from a woman's mind in every part of her life, relationships included. I'm looking at this guy for my survival. Unfortunately, modern women don't really start to take survival seriously until they're in their 30s, when they have to start buying their own drinks. Lisa, unfortunately for her, came from an extremely broken home and had to fend for herself at a very, very early age. Very, very early age. She did what she had to do to survive.
You're doing that, sometimes you will look at fast cash with a little bit more value than somebody else.
Yeah.
And fast cash that's legal, right?
Yeah.
I was never willing to deal drugs. I was never willing to escort or do anything that was illegal. But I was like, oh my gosh, this is a legal job. And I saw the girls coming into feature dance at my club, and I knew how much money they were making. And I was like, this is stupid fucking money. In 2 weekends, some of these feature entertainers were making more than my parents made in a year. So I was smart enough to be like, all right, this is going to pull me right out of this. And then I'm going to be able to take classes at Golden West College. I'm going to be able to do things that I want to do. And I'm going to be able to hire, learn later.
Do you remember when you stopped acting from scarcity and started acting more in abundance?
I would think it was probably
good
when I met
question.
my husband, who I'm still
Wow, this guy is a very good interviewer. Very good question, man. Damn,
friends with, who his parents were good, not his mom so much, but his dad and his stepmom were great people, and really taught me a lot. And Mike really helped me understand things. Like, he would say, I dressed however I wanted for so long. And he would say, okay, there's a time and a place to wear that outfit. This is not the time or the place. And I'd be like, okay.
There we
so like
go.
I started to understand, like, I had a different set of clothes that I would pack when we went to
There
Tampa
it
and the
is.
golf course community to be with his family. And he helped me understand a lot of things that nobody just had the balls to talk to me about. Or
On the golf course with his family, which means he was well-to-do, which tells us what class? That's why he was honest with her. The more options you have as a man, the more honest you can be with women.
I didn't have a colleague or a friend that and I respected his opinion so much. And so I think he helped me a lot. And then I think getting divorced really helped me claim my
Of course.
complete worth.
There we go.
Because when it got to the point where we weren't living in a happy household, I remember thinking, like, okay, I'm kind of the breadwinner here. I had been saving money before he was saving money, because I had been saving money since I started.
Guys, more RP truths confirmed. Of course they got divorced. Number one, she's a sex worker. Number one, she came from a broken home. And people who come from broken homes suck at relationships until they learn otherwise. Number two, she was a sex worker. Man, sex workers have terrible relationships. Number three, she was the breadwinner. If your woman is the breadwinner in your household, she does not have respect for you. That's why she divorced her husband. She was the breadwinner. That's why they're not together. We tell guys this we tell women this all the time. I'm good with being the breadwinner. Yeah, I'm good. No, you're not. You're not good with being the breadwinner. Yeah. I mean, this is incredible. Like Lisa Ann is just, I mean, she's confirming every goddamn thing. Jesus.
In the industry. And so I thought to myself, like, you have a choice to buy back your freedom. And I remember when I had a conversation with myself at the beach and I said, getting divorced is going to you buying back your freedom. Do you want to stay in an unhappy home and argue with somebody just to be with somebody? Or do you want to buy back your freedom? So, okay, let's go to a mediator. That's when we decided we were just going to go to a mediator. I was like, just put a number on it and I'll give you the money and we'll make this a clean break and we won't haggle and we won't have to go to court and do any of those things, because why should you do that with somebody that 7 years spent with them and they helped your life so much? But getting divorced and being back on my own, at that time I owned the day spa. I was running a business by myself. I owned a home at the beach. And that was when I really realized, like, okay, you love yourself enough that you got rid of your favorite person to have freedom in your home where you felt comfortable, where you weren't bickering, where you shared your same values with yourself, which I did.
I loved myself enough. Translation, there was somebody else in my life. There you go. Women, look, guys, women will never squeeze the trigger on breaking up with you unless they have someone waiting in the wings. That is never not the case. She didn't all of a sudden decide, well, now I'm this major famous porn star. I love myself enough. Now I'm going to divorce my favorite person in the world. I'm just going to, no, More RP truths, guys.
Different value for the dollar that he did. He grew up with more money than I did. So that happens, right? When you're young and you're dating, and you're thinking about getting married to somebody, you don't often think about money. And people do fight about money. And so you have to have the same value for the dollar. That's a big, big, big lesson for people in a relationship. If one person's a big spender and the other person's a big saver, eventually there's going to be a tug of war with that, because one person's going to be worried about their future life more than their today life. And so I would say that relationship helped me grow so much, and that independence of saying, yes, I'm going to get divorced. I'm going to live in this house by myself. I'm going to run this business by myself, and I'm going to do this, really helped me realize, like, you're good to go.
What were some of...
Yeah, what she's not telling you, and I guarantee you, it absolutely did not take long. It absolutely did not take long for her to find somebody else. Guys, she was fucking somebody behind her husband's back. Of that, I'm certain.
The other most important steps or resources you use to love yourself more?
Reading.
Anything in particular?
Every single self-help book, The Secret. Like, I love The Secret. I'm a big fan of The Secret. I still watch the doc once a month. Is a great reminder in life. But really, gratitude, being thankful for. As soon as I moved to California, I would say to myself, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful you moved us here. I would talk to myself like in third person, like, I'm so thankful you moved us here. Like,
two people.
Yeah, me. We did this together. Like, it was your thought process and your actual believing you could do it, not being afraid to leave the nest. And gratitude of, like, I moved to Huntington Beach. I watched the sunset every single day I was home, for
Huntington
years
Beach
that I lived down there. And I would just
beautiful.
drive down to the little cul-de-sac thing and sit there at the beach and watch the sunset, be like, oh my gosh, you come from Pennsylvania. I can't believe you're getting to watch the sunset on the West Coast. So, like, having gratitude every day for the experience.
The West Coast is the best coast, y'all.
That I provided for myself really helped me love myself. And those are easy things to do. Really easy. Establishing yourself in a new community. You move from New York to Austin. You go to Austin, you find your favorite, if you like froyo, if you like sandwiches, you find your favorite places and you start to build relationships with the people that run the place or that work there. And you start to feel this sense of community building around you. These are things you're doing to love yourself, to make yourself happier in the community.
I hear where she's trying to come from. I hear where she's coming from, but guys, this isn't true. This isn't true. Self-love doesn't come from uprooting yourself from one coast to the other. No. Women, if I'm telling you, guys, I'm telling you right now, if a woman does not get that unconditional love from her father as a little girl, self-love is off the table for her. It's off the table. It's impossible. Think of it this way. A queen doesn't become a queen unless a king appoints her, right? A queen doesn't appoint the king. No, the king appoints the queen. It's just like self-love.
Community where you moved. And so I was really aware, and I spent a lot of time alone. So I've had a lot of time to journal, to go back and reflect on my journal, to read, to go back and reflect on notes of what I pulled out of what I'm reading. But really, to have a constant dialogue with myself of how far we've come, what we're doing, the friendships that we've made along the way. And I always say we, because it is a being, to not feel alone, understanding yourself as a we, mind, body, spirit is really a we. And when you bring those things.
Do you see these psychological tools that she uses to keep from swallowing a gun? Right? She literally thinks of herself as two mind, body, and spirit, or whatever. She calls herself we. Guys, this is a coping mechanism. It's a coping mechanism.
Together,
and look, I mean, I get it. Dude, cope however you need to cope. But this is a coping mechanism.
Have your eye, but you can talk to yourself and thank yourself. And I think not enough people do it.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. And on that piece of being alone, you mentioned before that you had this massive house and you were alone in this mansion and you're like, I got to get out of here. Or I got to clean this place up. And that ended up with you downsizing. And that was the importance and the practice of minimalism.
Yes.
Why did that play such an important role in your life?
Man, it was timing again. In the Life Back, you'll read the open really starts with this dramatic, series of events that took place when I retired in 2015. And I spent a year going to court, and I spent a year just circling around a lot of negativity. And what I learned about the industry at that time.
What did she spend a year going to court for?
Is being as successful as I was in porn and making the decision to retire without telling anyone really backfired in my face. And it came from every level. So what I learned was it's almost like trying to get out of a gang. Gang leaders do not want a gang member to reinvent themselves. They're not going to make money off of that person anymore. That person's not going to be working for them on the street anymore. And so the industry is very much like a gang. And that's just a lack of education and it's a fearfulness, but all the way from the companies who turned on me because they realized, oh, we're not going to make money off of her. How could she leave? She's the most popular girl in the industry. We were making so much money off her. She cut off. I closed the drain. And then the talent will retaliate in a sense that, oh, you feel you're better than us now. So you're leaving because you think it's like, no, I did this for almost fucking 30 years of my life. I was just ready to do something new. I was not feeling the joy.
Right.
I was becoming more aware of the risks to my health. I was becoming, in my 40s, I was like, is this really how you want to go down? And each time there'd be a positive HIV case, each time there'd be an STD that was treatable but not curable going around in the industry, I would start to think to myself, at what point have you made enough money? Their health is more important.
Yeah.
And so I kept having these conversations. And I will say my last couple of years shooting, I would have this voice that would come into my head while I'd be sitting in traffic. It would be like, today's the day you're going to get something that you're going to have for the rest of your life. And that is a heavy weight. And nobody cared about that heavy weight. So I dealt with this darkness and I went through this severe depression of just being a shut-in for a year. So I was a shut-in for the entire year of 2016. And I needed that year. I needed that year to be still. I had been traveling since about 1990. I had been doing all of the things in the industry and going all over the world and constantly busy and constantly putting more things in my schedule and constantly. And so that sudden slam of the door and that forcing me to be still, it really made me take inventory in myself. And so to pass the time, and I will suggest this to anyone who goes through a depressed time in their life, we're all going to go through them. And you're going to make it to the other side. And every morning when you wake up, you tell yourself, I'm one day closer to making it to the other side. But I eliminated alcohol. So I was sitting in my living room one day and I had this liquor cabinet. It was really pretty. It was glass. And I was filled with liquor and glasses. And I remember thinking well, that can't stay. So I took a picture of it that day. And I texted it to a friend who has a house that he shoots content in. And he had this blank space behind me in photos that always irritated me. And I said, yo, Chris, this liquor cabinet, this will look awesome in that blank space behind your stairs that always irritates me. Come and pick it up. And he's like, I'm like, you have to take the liquor, the glasses, everything that is on this thing because I don't trust myself with it. Alcohol is a depressant.
Wow.
And I knew that was not what I wanted to be doing. I'd smoke weed. I'd sit and pass the time. But I told myself, look, if watching TV for 8 hours a day is what you want to do right now, you're at least going to watch educational TV. So I did all, since I wasn't traveling, I watched House Hunters International. Oh, that narrator's voice is so soothing. And I loved learning about all these different countries.
Lisa's parents failed her. They really, really did. They failed her, man. They failed her because she seems like a very intelligent individual. She doesn't sound stupid at all. She actually sounds like she could be doing well for herself, at least financially. Emotionally, relationship-wise, we all know that's a dumpster fire. But she sounds dude, what an incredible waste of talent. Dude, she could have been somebody's husband. Man, dude, Lisa Ann looked good enough early on to marry a zillionaire. Oh my God. And I got to tell you, I'm impressed with what I'm seeing here so far. I did not expect for Lisa Ann to be this smart. But she is 51 years old, And most girls don't last this long in the industry. They get strung out on drugs, alcohol, whatever the case may be.
In the food. So that was my splurge show. But I watched every documentary on Netflix, every documentary on Hulu, and I stumbled across minimalism. And so I realized that that liquor cabinet that I could see from the couch where I'd watch TV and I could see into my dining room, that was more significant than I realized, because that was the first step of removing a layer of my life. And so that documentary, then I ordered their books. Josh and Ryan, great writers. I love them. I've been on their podcast. They've been on my podcast. I'm a huge fan. And I went down that rabbit hole of Marie Kondo. So I was like, okay, you've got nothing but time. I stopped watching TV and I started one room at a time in my house.
Wow.
I had a 4-floor house. It was 4,000 square feet. Every closet was packed. Everything, every space had something in it. Years of doing award shows, years of doing trade shows. So I just started with like my master closet. Took every single thing out and made a deliberate decision of what was going back in. And then was able to make a decision, oh, I wore that outfit in a scene for Brazzers. Let me go and list it up online and sell it to a fan. So then there became this like earning potential, like,
oh, wow. Look at that. Look at that. Now, that's not something I would want to buy, right?
holy shit, I'm making money here. I'm selling things. I would see clothes. I'd be like, okay, Google yourself, Lisa Ann yellow dress. There's the photos. I'm stealing those photos. I'm printing them out with the order because they would get a signed set of 4 photos. And it became this big thing. A lot of things I gave away to friends. I would take pictures of things, give away whatever I could get rid of, I got rid of. And through that pursuit of minimalism, which I gave myself a full year, it took me 2 years from that. 2016 was dark. 2017, I started really doing it. 2019, my house was so empty. It was so easy to sell because it looked bigger than it was because every closet was pretty much empty other than my master. But that also gave me a better understanding of kind of the hamster wheel I was on. Though I was saving money, I could have been saving a lot more money the entire time I was in the industry. But because I felt I had to have a new outfit every time I went to a show, every time I did an appearance, every time I was on set, I had accumulated way too much shit. And
well, yes, that sounds a lot like the collection of clothes that I have for Devin. But I'm not giving away any of that stuff. You got to keep it fresh.
That gave me an understanding of how I would live my future life. I would be more mindful with my purchases. I would not just buy shit to buy shit. And I also realized I was filling a void. And we buy things because we think stuff is going, it's a habit. You know, you have a day off, like, let's go walk around the mall. That used to be a thing. Like, I can't tell you when the last time I walked around a mall. You know, it changed my life in so many ways. And my kitchen was like the craziest because I had all this stuff that I had bought off like late night infomercials. I had a toaster and I don't even eat bread. You know what I mean? Like, I had so much stuff because I had space for it. So my kitchen, I took everything out and I did it like the minimalist suggested. For a month, I would put things back that I was using. And then after that month, whatever I didn't use, I donated to Goodwill. And it took days upon days of filling my car, which was down 3 flights of stairs to my underground park to fill the car. Luckily, Goodwill was right down the street. Drop, go back, do it again. But that experience made me a better person. And so sometimes the worst things, we think the worst thing just happened to us. And when you're in it, it is the worst thing. But when you realize why it happened to make me be still and to know that when I was going to take the full step in reinventing my new life, that all of my bad habits with spending money were going to be broken, with all of my insecurities of having to have a new outfit, not being able to repeat the same dress, you know, all of those things were so trivial, but it was what I did. And so that just made me go, you know what, I think you could live in like a less than 1,000 square foot apartment now in New York City completely fine. Like, you could have never considered that. I mean, I had 2 places. I had a studio in New York and a home in LA. And then I realized like I could live in a studio full time now. And now when I buy something, I get rid of something. So if I'm not willing to get rid of something, I can't buy something. And so I've continued to live a very minimalistic life, and it makes your life so much easier. You don't spend days on days redoing your garage or fixing up your closet because you have too much stuff. You don't spend your free time managing stuff because you don't have too much stuff.
That's beautiful. The first step of that was cutting out alcohol. Do you still not drink alcohol?
I started drinking again after 2 years, but I just drink casually. I'm not a big drinker. I do have the Italian mindset. And I am releasing wine this year. I partnered with a winery in Sicily, so I'm releasing my own wine. I do believe in the red wine before bed theory. I do, and so I'll have a glass of wine when I'm watching TV. I really enjoy it. I try not to drink
red before bed, baby.
Hard alcohol. But you know, you have those nights in Vegas where you're out with the right people and next thing you know, you've had too much to drink and it's fun. But I don't drink hard alcohol at home. I just knew at that time, like when you're going through something, you have to be self-aware enough that you go, what could be really double layer destructive here? What could make this worse? I felt like alcohol would have made it worse because I had too much free time. And weed doesn't affect me the same way. I would smoke to just not have my brain going and to make me relax enough to be still. But so I wove drinking back into my life, but it's not a constant. And you know, I might have like 4 benders a year where it's like that night in Vegas where you're like, how did we end up drinking 10 old fashions? Why am I so hungover? But they're memorable nights. You know, why did I wake up in the spare bedroom in my suite? Why am I in the twin and not my king size bedroom, which did happen to me earlier this year. But you know, I made those decisions, and I think it's important to be self-aware and to know when, like, some people would eat more. You know, that's time where you don't want to have bad food in your house. Like whatever it is that you know you might lean on too much, knock it aside until you're ready to do it properly.
Yeah, no, I love that. What are some of the most important habits and routines that make you and that you can't live without?
I can't live without my morning routine. I take 3 hours every morning to myself.
Oh, wow.
And I know that's generous, right? I didn't get here right? Where I was like,
okay, I'm gonna skip to advice to her younger self.
I can always stand up for myself. I will always know who I am.
Yeah. What advice would you give to
Yeah, Devin says cutting out alcohol changed my body drastically. Yeah, it has. I actually showed her a picture yesterday of us in New York City shortly after we moved out here. She looked like a completely different person. It was incredible.
younger version of yourself? Let's say you at 20 years old.
What people ask me this a lot, and it's a great question. I would tell myself to not worry as much. I spent a lot of my life worrying, and I remember Peggy used to always tell me, like, worrying is like sitting in a rocking chair. You go back and forth, but you don't go anywhere. So why worry? She never worried. Never worried. My dad would worry about storms coming through and knocking over the corn. And she would tell me, like, if that's what Mother Nature wants, then we'll just, let it happen. She didn't worry. And I think I worried a lot. And I think when you come from a survival mindset, you have to stop that eventually. You have to be like, I'm not ever going to be broke. I'm not ever going to be, alone in a situation where I can't lean on a friend. Like, I'm not ever going to be. So you have to coach yourself. But I would tell my younger self, like, don't worry so much. Now I just say to myself, when I'm concerned, I try not to use worried. When I'm concerned about something, I'm like, well, Lisa, you made it this far.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be all right. Like, you made it this far. So
Yeah.
stop. But it's a habit.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think of worrying as arguing with reality often. And we're happiest and most at peace when we stop arguing with reality.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious if there was ever a point when you noticed yourself get better at that.
I think, minimalism.
Minimalism.
I really think the transition, leaving California, I had the aha moment before I was really thinking I was going to leave. I had this aha moment. I had this beautiful waterway on the Valley Heart River, which is like the fake river in LA that's really the water supply. But it has a photo of an egret, so I would tell people I had riverfront property, but really it's just a waterway. And there was a bench there, and I was sitting there, and I was like, well, you moved to LA to get in the business. You've left the business. You want to be in sports media full time. You need to move to New York because that's where everything is. And it was just this aha moment. And so that was when I realized I'm going to sell my home. I'm going to live in an apartment. And so that was a drastic change. I've owned a home since I was 24 years old. I've been the HOA president. I've done everything when it comes to my neighborhood watch, to everything, and minimizing those additional tasks and kind of putting myself back in the spot of like a young person of like, oh, I'm going to rent a little apartment and I'm going to have a lot less space. And that changed me tremendously. And that's when I realized like you can do anything. And now you've simplified your life enough that you can move freely and you have less to worry about in general.
Why was sports media the next path for you?
It happened pretty organically. I've always been a huge sports fan.
Okay, I don't care about that.
And I can watch, NFL Live and then remember every stat they gave me. And then when I go on my show, I'll be like, oh, I was watching this on NFL Live, and Clarissa said this, and, it's word for word.
Did this bitch, hold up now, did this bitch just say NFL Live? Whoa, wait a minute now. Wait a minute, hold up. So she's legit.
I just do what I do, but memorizing helps a lot in sports.
Yeah.
Man, I can watch, NFL Live and then remember every stat they gave me. And then when I go on my show, I'll be like, oh, I was watching this on NFL Live, and Clarissa said this, and, it's word for word.
What are you running?
Hey, man. Don fucking DeMarco. All right.
From and what are you running towards?
What am I running from?
That is too interesting.
I don't really think at this point in my life there's anything I'm running from.
Nope, I don't think so either. Let's get to the juicy stuff. Dating.
That's meditation right there.
Yeah.
Is it difficult for you to date with your history?
Yeah, it's not an easy task.
How do you navigate that?
It's not an easy task. I don't really navigate it. This is a tricky situation. It's a failed attempt. So I have men in my life that I enjoy and that I trust, and that as long as they're single, they're in my life. Whether we have dinner, whether we hang out at my place, those are my sexual friends.
I have men in my life. Sexual friends. Men, plural. Men, plural. So even at 51 years old, she still has a rotation. This is modern women. Look, her upbringing was not her fault. We will give her that. But this should just go to show. This goes to show that every woman is always fucking multiple dudes, dude. I have men in my life. She's 51 years old and she has a rotation. And now everybody knows she has a rotation.
Friendships. There's one person that has been woven in my life for 13 years. He's truly the one person. He's my person. He's my number one person. But there's moments where I kind of shut him out for a period of time because I'm being stubborn about something. As you see me turn the necklace, that's when you know I'm telling the truth. But I just saw him last week, and when I see him, I'm the most comfortable in my skin with him. He has no issues or qualms with what I've done. He looks at me as a self-made, success story. So it takes a lot to me.
Look, check this out. Check this out. I'll put it to you like this. I'll put it to you like this. And I think this might be the difference between people like us and other people. Dude, if I had a dick the size of Jason Love's, yeah, I wouldn't care. I'd bang porn star. Even if I wasn't I'd bang porn stars, because I know I'm definitely in the top 1% in terms of penises. Right? Now, of course, there's the whole sanitary thing, and that is still very true. But you think to yourself, how do you satisfy a woman sexually who is in porn for damn near 30 years, guys? And again, she did a lot of interracial porn, guys. You guys know what that means. Again, guys, don't forget about the Labor Day sale going on this weekend only. Get 50% off all books and courses. That is everything. The Ultimate Fit Test Guide, How to Master the Game, How to Build the Quality Woman Up, the 49 Laws of Sharp, How to Train Your Woman, all of it. Womanese, volumes 1 through 5, all of it, 50% off. Put everything you want in your cart. Use promo code LABOR at checkout. Shop off half of the cost. Sale ends at midnight on Labor Day night.
Meet somebody that sees me that way. When I explain it to young women interested in getting in the business, I run by all the reasons why I think maybe they shouldn't first. And then we try to surface to why I think they should, if we get there. Whether it's their family, their friendships. But I tell them, for the rest of your life, every man you meet is going to want to be with you. But they're not going to want to be with you.
Nope.
What a lie.
But it's real.
Yeah.
They want to be with you,
Yeah.
but they don't want to be with you. They don't want to be your emergency contact number. They don't want to bring you around their family. They don't want to have you around all their friends, but they want to be with you. So that is a real thing. And so I never thought that the internet would happen. When we were on film, we were living double lives. Nobody knew who we were. Then the internet happens. I'm like, okay, double life no more. And it's tricky. I can't meet a stranger. I can't be on a dating app.
Nope.
I meet people through people. I meet trusted sources through my friends. And usually, we'll hang out for a period of time. I've tried, so over the past 3 years since I've been here, I tried dating seriously twice. And the first time, 6 months in, I found out he had a live-in girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so he was lying to me the entire time. And we've made it past that. We're cordial now. It is what it is, but I confronted him on it when I found out, and we had this conversation. But then it made me feel more human, because it was my first time dating as a regular woman and looking at myself as not being in the industry anymore. And that's a normal thing that happens to women.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is relatable. I feel like one of you all. I feel so normal now that I've been cheated on. Like, this is so great. And then the second one.
No, you didn't get cheated on, sweet cheeks. You were the side bitch. You weren't the main chick. You were the side bitch. That's not getting cheated on. I know. I've been there.
It was a couple of months, and I realized that I ended that because he complained too much. So now I've got someone who likes me, who doesn't care about my past, who isn't judgmental, and this could have been another good fit. But he complained all the time. And don't complain about work when you're not working anymore.
Lisa, baby, sweetie, honey. You ain't got those kinds of options. Okay. So the man complained too much, and he didn't care about your past. Or so you met a man who didn't care about your past, right? And you broke up with him because he complained too much. See, even now at 51 years old, she's 51 years old. She has a visible notch count, former mattress actress, still has a rotation, still has the one alpha, still has the one guy that she's been alpha widowed for 13 years. For 13 years. And he complained too much. Lisa, sweetie, getting a man that complains too much, that is the least. That is the least of your worries. Holy smokes. Still picky. To the end. Still picky. Now he complains too much. Lisa, sweetie, take what you can get. Okay, so the guy complains too much. How many men are you going to find that have the status, attraction level, and the lack of the how can I put this? And not worrying about your pet. How many men like this are you going to meet? Ay, 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 ay.
Don't complain about work late at night. Like, if you want to have a talk, we'll do a walk and talk in the park, air your shit out. But if it's late at night and we should be having sex or watching a movie and you're still complaining, I can't. I just can't. So I'm not lonely. I don't feel a void. But I would say, it's very...
Yeah, she's definitely lonely. She said she's not lonely, so she's lonely. Yeah.
very important that somebody look at how difficult...
And look, and I agree with Lisa. If, like, don't bitch and complain to your woman. That's not attractive. But, again, Lisa does not understand that she doesn't have many options. Like, it's just like, I don't know. Dude, I could never have sex with a porn star. Ew. I couldn't do it.
difficult it is to date, especially when you're someone as popular as me.
Oh, baby. Oh, boy. Yeah. No, it's not difficult to date you because you're popular. You're difficult to date because you are a porn star. That's why.
I'll meet somebody and I'll think they're cool, and then I realize they're way too much of a fan for me to be comfortable having sex with. Or they'll bring up a bunch of other porn stars that they know, and I'm like, okay, we're done here. You're a fan. You should have been in line at Exotica. We're never going to spend time alone together. But it's a thing, and there's a security issue. You have to always be thinking about your safety as well, and that's something that you're always compromising by being so well known one way.
Yeah.
But yeah, dating's kind of tough. My fingers are always crossed that 13-year-old guy is the guy that's in my life forever. They're not 13. Did I say 13-year-old? Oh my God, please delete that. I mean, 13-year guy. There's been a guy in my life for 13 years. And, when I met him, I felt that with him.
More RP truths concerned. There is always that one guy. There's always that one guy that your woman would leave. There's always that one guy that she will leave at the drop of a hat for. There's always that one guy. Always that one guy. Never, ever forget that, gentlemen.
I felt like this guy's going to be in my life forever.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that every year I tell my friends, like, no, this is the year where I'm not going to see him anymore. And I'm like, well, we're going to do another year of this. And he was just with me for 3 days. We had a great time.
Well, I hope that works out for you. And
we're the same age. We both have no kids. We both were married at the exact same years of our lives. We both got divorced. Like, he's super, wow. Yeah. So he's a minimalist. Like, all the signs point to this should work.
Well,
yes, but the reason it doesn't, Lisa, is because of your past. And that's a shame, but it's the truth. 13 years, 51 minus 13. So he met her when they were 38 years old. Ay.
Hopefully we'll do this again in 13 years and we'll have
God.
a better story to tell on that front. But what's the book about? The Life Back.
So the Life Back really is the continuation.
I don't really care about that. All right. I thought that was a fascinating. I thought that was interesting. Look, I'll admit I didn't realize that Lisa Ann had the depth that she has. She seems like a very cool person. She doesn't seem bitter or jaded, but we don't see her behind the scenes. Yeah, Roderick Thomas says sounds like Alpha Widow. That's exactly what it is. So that is exactly what it is. All right. I am going to now go enjoy my weekend. Thank you guys very much. I will see you guys tomorrow for the dating show breakdown. Take care.